Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Yato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Apatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanaභaya Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangahe. Hare Krishna, welcome dear devotees. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, which is Status Quo, Chapter 24, which is the renunciation of Kardama Muni, and today we are reading text 40. Let's start. Matra Adhyatmikim Vidyam Shamanim Sarvakarmanam Vitarishye Yaya Chasa Bhayam Chati Tarishyati. Word for word. Matre, to my mother. Adhyatmikim, which opens the door of spiritual life. Vidyam, knowledge. Shamanim, ending. Sarva karmanam, all fruitive activities. Vitarishye, I shall give. Yaya, by which. Cha, also. Asa, she. Bhayam, fear. Cha, also. Atitarishyati, will overcome. So translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I shall also describe this sublime knowledge which is the door to spiritual life, to my mother, so that she also can attain perfection and self-realization, ending all reactions to fruitive activities. Thus, she also will be freed from all material fear. Purport. Kardama Muni was anxious about his good wife, Devahuti, while leaving home. And so the worthy son promised that not only would Kardama Muni be freed from material entanglement, but Devahuti would also be freed by receiving instruction from her son. A very good example is set here. The husband goes away taking the sannyas order for self-realization, but his representative, the son, who is equally educated, remains at home to deliver the mother. A sannyasi is not supposed to take his wife with him. At the vanaprastha stage of retired life, or the stage midway between householder life and renounced life, one may keep his wife as an assistant without sex relations, but in the sannyasa order of life, one cannot keep his wife with him. Otherwise, a person like Kardama Muni could have kept his wife with him, and there would have been no hindrance to his prosecution of self-realization. Kardama Muni followed the Vedic injunction that no one in sannyas life can have any kind of relationship with women. But what is the position of a woman who is left by her husband? She is entrusted to the son, and the son promises that he will deliver his mother from entanglement. A woman is not supposed to take sannyas. So-called spiritual societies concocted in modern times give sannyas even to women, although there is no sanction in the Vedic literature for a woman's accepting sannyas. Otherwise, if it were sanctioned, Kardama Muni could have taken his wife and given her sannyas. The woman must remain at home. She has only 3 stages of life: dependency on the father in childhood, dependency on the husband in youth, and in old age, dependency on the grown-up son such as Kapila. In old age, the progress of woman depends on the grown-up son. The ideal son, Kapila Muni, is assuring his father of the deliverance of his mother so that his father may go peacefully without anxiety for his good wife. Let's invoke the, first, actually a lot of different points in the purport. We'll see what we can cover. But first, let's invoke the Mangala Charan. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Ramayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vasyapradeshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome, dear devotees, to this morning's Bhagavatam discussion. I'm totally unqualified, but I take this as a service, and with prayers to my Guru Maharaj, that I may, and all of you assembled devotees, that I may say something of some value. So this verse, right, is being spoken by Lord Kapila to his father Kardama Muni. And going back just a little bit is that Kardama Muni asked for permission, right, to renounce the world, to take sannyas. So basically he's asking, he asked for permission to leave his home, his family, and retire to the forest as a sannyasi, where he can focus on meditation of the Lord. Now, we've been discussing that, what was Lord Kapila's response, right, from, the last about 5 verses or so. So he starts, first of all, with giving his reason, the reason for why Lord Kapila, who is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, why did he appear, first of all? So firstly, it was because he had made a promise to Kardama Muni, when Kardama Muni had conducted about 10,000 years of austerities, right, to the Lord, when he had gotten instruction from his father, Brahma, to help him with progeny and populating the universe. So at that time, when he had performed the 10,000 years of austerity, one of the things that he had asked for was, a son like the Lord. And so the Lord had actually given him the promise that he will appear as his son. So that's one of the reasons. Secondly, to give the Sankhya philosophy to the world, right, in which he would explain the principles of self-realization. So that's the second reason. And the third is, he said that this knowledge of self-realization, which is, very difficult to understand, was given at a certain point of time, but it was lost. With time it got lost. And so he's come to revive that knowledge. Right? So those are the 3 reasons he gives in verses 35 through 37. And then in this particular section, Kapil Dev gives instructions to Kardama Muni. So first of all, he gives permission. He says, you can go ahead and surrender all activities to the Lord and worship Him. So, you have the permission to go and take sannyas. And he says that by doing so, you will see the Lord as super soul within your heart. And in doing so, you will achieve eternal life, free from all fear and lamentation. So, those are the two things. And lastly, he also says, which is today's verse, he says that not only you, but even your wife, my mother, will attain perfection, because I will give her this sublime knowledge as well. And as a result, she will be freed from all material fear. Yes, again, free from all material fear. And she will end all reactions to productive activities and be freed from all material fear. So this fear comes up, twice. I mean, he says this to Kardama Muni, that he will be free from all fear and lamentation, and also that his mother, with this knowledge, will be free from all material fear. So what is this material fear, right? As living beings, all of us are bound by some kind of fear, this material fear. I mean, we hear about, this eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Right? Defending forms, it's like a primeval part of living entities, right? Because we have fear, we have this need to defend. And throughout the Bhagavatam, in many verses, and in many discussions, I mean, this question comes up, why do we have this fear? And how can we overcome this fear, right? And Srimad Bhagavatam talks about it like in many different ways. But I was looking at several verses, and there's this one verse in Canto 11, which I found addresses it, talks about it kind of comprehensively in a way. It starts with Bhayam Dvitiya Abhiniveshata Abhiniveshata Syat. So, and it's translated as Bhayam, of course, is fear. Dvitiya, in something seeming to be other than the Lord. And Abhiniveshata, because of absorption. So, clearly, when we are absorbed in something Dvitiya, which is something other than the Lord, that's when fear arises, right? So if we look at the translation, it says, so if you think about it, what is this, what is this thing that's happening to us, right? I mean, how is it that we are absorbed in something other than the Lord? So the translation says, fear arises when a living entity misidentifies himself as the material body because of absorption in the external illusory energy of the Lord. So the living entity, we identify, I mean, other than, of course, now that, we've come to Krishna consciousness, we have this knowledge about the soul. But in general, the people, I mean, all the education that we have had until then, and the majority of the population out there identifies with this material body. And we are completely absorbed in this world and, the illusion of the world of Maya, right? This illusory energy of the Lord. So it goes on to say that when the living entity thus turns away from the Supreme Lord, he also forgets his own constitutional position as the servant of the Lord. And this bewildering, fearful condition is affected by the potency for illusion called Maya. So right at the stage, when we turned away from the Supreme Lord. We remember that picture that His Holiness Ramapada Swami Maharaj often shows, where the Lord is there and we are turning away from the Lord and, coming into this, somehow flying into this material world. Right at that stage, we forget who we really are, right? And we get completely bewildered and we are, covered within this illusory energy, Maya. And we are completely bewildered. And at that stage, all of our fears, so many fears arise within us, fears become a constitutional condition of ours. So if you think about it, right, what are some of our fears? Every fear that we have is actually related to this body, which we think is ourselves, right? That, this is who we are. So, we have fear for our health, right, related to the body, our job, especially, these days, that's a big fear. Fear for our savings, right? I mean, if we have substantial savings, then there's the fear that I should not lose it. Of course, in these super digital times, even if you have savings and you keep it in the bank, and even if you don't take any risks, you never know when there may be an electronic glitch or a cyber attack or someone, phishing attack or something. That we hear of so many stories where people have actually, lost their savings or a significant part of their savings and whatnot. So many things. And then, of course, if you don't have enough saved up, then, there is the fear of what will I do if I lose my job, or, how will I sustain myself in old age? And then when we were younger, there was fear of exams, fear of flights. I mean, these days, again, the last few weeks, there have been so many crashes that we've been hearing about. And, while one may have come to some confidence that, okay, flights are safe, now again, it's like, okay, are they really, right? So, and, you suddenly become that, okay, you come to know that, flights have also become dangerous now, right? And of course, talking of danger, we hear abundantly throughout the scriptures, vipada, right? Padam padam yad vipadam. That's the world, the dangerous place that we are in. So our fear is definitely not unfounded as such within this material world, because it's like we are walking around, a place where there are mines. It's like anything can blow up at any time. And then, of course, we have fear for our near and dear ones, fear of losing them, fear that they will run into any problems, especially your children, a spouse, parents. And then, of course, there's the big fear of death, right? Because again, we identify with this body and, we don't want to die, right? So the verse actually goes on to say, what can we do to overcome this fear? So it says that, therefore, an intelligent person should engage unflinchingly in the unalloyed devotional service of the Lord under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, whom he should accept as his worshipable deity and as his very life and soul. So, that's the answer. That is the way to get rid of this material fear, right? So as we engage, and again, fortunately for us, we have somehow engaged, to whatever level in devotional service. And as we engage in devotional service, we slowly come to realize that our body and, everything that we relate to the body is a temporary situation. And, coming to that understanding that everything belongs to Krishna, right? If we have something, we can use it with gratitude for the time being, for the time that we have it. And that includes not only our possessions, but also our abilities, right? Ability to speak well, to sing well, or whatever gifts we have, that it is something given to us temporarily by Krishna. And if it gets taken away, it wasn't really ours to begin with. Of course, that's not easy. That's anyway, that's the idea, right? To have that conviction, that and gratitude that is given by Krishna, and it could actually get taken away. And of course, that conviction comes with our with the ability to, as we take shelter in Krishna more and more and detach ourselves from this body. Now, of course, when we say that taking to devotional service, it's not like, calamities will not come, right? I mean, when we talk about things getting taken away, there will be calamities, there will be difficulties. But because, the whole point is, because we are in the shelter of this all-powerful, supreme, lovable Lord, we are protected. And, and so that's the conviction, right? That, that we develop as we progress in devotional service. So coming back to this verse, Kapila Dev is assuring Kardama Muni that he will give Mother Devahuti the knowledge, right? And he talks about this Adhyatmikim Vidyam. Adhyatmikim is translated as something which opens the door of spiritual life, right? With which all fruitive activity will end. And it says Shramanim Sarva Karmanam. Now, that's another thing, right? I mean, when we say fruitive activity will end, a person in Krishna consciousness, a devotee does not end work, right? I mean, it's, so, I mean, that is very important. And again, that has been a teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well, time and again, sthane sthita. We have to continue where we are. We have to continue the work, right? But the thing is, all the work that we do has to be, for Krishna, right? And without any material desire. So akama, right? We get to that stage of akama. Unlike the two other forms of activity, which is sarvakama, or where all we desire all the results of the activity, or moksha kama, where we are working for liberation. Or of course, there's the other form, which is vikarma, which is activities in sin and whatnot. So we completely stay away from that. But by doing akama, right, by ending fruitive activities, we stop entangling ourselves within this world. Right? So that's the whole point that Kapila Dev is making. He's committing to give Devahuti the Sankhya Yoga, which will help her to get to that stage. And we will read about Sankhya Yoga starting from chapter 25. There's I think several chapters where Kapila Dev talks about Sankhya Yoga. So we're going to read about that in detail. And Mother Devahuti actually is going to listen very, very intently and ask wonderful questions which relate to us. And then she's going to sincerely practice, right? And take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, who himself is, he's the giver of fearlessness. Right? And with that, her material desires and anxiety will disappear with time. So we're going to see that, something to look forward to. Now, of course, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada has given various, other lessons. One very important thing is, we keep hearing that as parents, we have a big responsibility, which is to lead our children to devotional service, to Krishna consciousness. teach them to depend on Krishna and take shelter of Krishna. But in this verse, we learn that it is also the child's responsibility, and we as grown-up children of our parents, it is our responsibility to take care of our old parents as well. And not only at a bodily level, but we have that responsibility to help them at the spiritual level as well, right? Just as Kapila Muni is taking care of Mother Devahuti. So it is our responsibility to facilitate our aging parents' self-realization and attainment of perfection. And with that, I'm thinking of, various devotees in our congregation who have brought their parents to Krishna consciousness, and they've gotten them initiated and whatnot. We have some really wonderful examples within people that we know. And then a very practical aspect of women needing to be protected, right? And the fact that while the Varnashram, there are 4 ashrams as such, but for women, it is basically 3 stages of life, and at 3 stages of life, women have to be protected by the father, the husband, and the son. So again, some very practical teachings. But yeah, I think what I'll do is, with Gaur Purnima coming up, I'd like to take some time to talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually also gave similar teachings to Shachi Devi, to his mother Shachi Devi. Okay, and it is there in the Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. It talks about the time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually gave these same lessons which Kapila Muni is going to be giving to Mother Devahuti. So we'll take a look at that a little bit. So this is a time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back from his trip to Gaya, and something really changed him, right? And he met Ishwar Puri, and he came back. Earlier he was this very aggressive, debating, as Nimai Pandit, debating personality. But suddenly now he's become very soft and a devotee, So he's, where we are at this stage is he has taken a bath and he has come home. And Mother Shachi asked, "My dear son, what books did you study today? Did you quarrel with anyone?" Because that's what he used to do. He used to debate with his students, with his associates, they prove a point, and then he used to refute that same point, and he would prove the opposite side. But at this stage, and that's why Mother Shachi is asking that question. But today, the Lord replies, "Today, I read about the names of Krishna. The lotus feet of Krishna are in fact the reservoirs of transcendental qualities." And then he says, "The literature that glorify devotional service to Krishna are true scriptures. Others are simply atheistic." And then one should never hear a scripture or a Purana that does not prominently describe the devotional service of Hari, even if it is recited by the 4-headed Lord Brahma. A Chandala is not a Chandala if he chants the name of Krishna. And whatever the Lord, as Kapila, had previously instructed his mother, he now instructed to his mother again in the same mood. So that's exactly what is being said here. So he tells his mother, "Oh mother, please hear the glories of devotional service to Krishna. Be attached to Krishna in all respects. Oh mother, the servants of Krishna are never destroyed. Even the wheel of time is frightened by the sight of Krishna's devotees. Oh mother, Krishna's servants do not undergo the tribulations of residing in a womb, taking birth or dying." So again, that fear, there is no reason to be fearful, is again what Krishna, what Mahaprabhu has told. Krishna is the father of the entire universe, and anyone who does not respect his father is rebellious and sinful, and therefore subjected to miseries birth after birth. And it goes on, he speaks for quite some time on there. So, but it's 8 o'clock, so I'll stop here. But yeah, I mean, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat also gives us so much, clarity in a way, and um, helps us go further and deeper into some of these lessons. But yeah, I'll stop for today. Thank you so much. Please, and again, sorry if I've misspoken something. Please add or correct if you would like to. Or if you have any questions, I'm not sure that I can answer, but yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Thandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Such a nice class, Mataji. Thank you so much. And I really like the part of fear. Like we fear when we are old, how we fear when we are young for exams and everything. That is so much true. But unless we depend on Krishna, we can't get over it. So that is so true. Thank you so much, Mataji, for mentioning it. Thank you. Wonderful class, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vijay. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. And yeah, definitely. I mean, knowing that when we hear Avashya Rakshave Krishna, right, all the time, but yeah, to keep reminding us of that and to be able to get to that stage is what we are practicing. So, yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Beautiful class, Mataji. You covered so many points, and there's a lot of work. Like it makes us think: Are we doing what we are supposed to? And especially about taking care of parents and preparing for like the old age. What is the right way to do it? Um, I think my challenges are as far as taking care of parents in spiritual ways, that you do the best you can, and then hoping that one day it sinks in their mind actually, what is the right way to do this spiritual practice. So yeah, I think learning from today's class, I feel like we should not give up. We should keep trying. One day, hopefully it will happen. Just like we came to Krishna consciousness, and everyone is at a different stage, different level of understanding, and hoping that it happens. So yeah, there was a lot to learn from the class. Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much. So nice.
Yes.
Able to take a few nuggets of that, right? And absolutely, I mean, our abilities are so little. What can we?
Exactly.
But having that intent is good enough. Is so important, and depending on Krishna to have that influence. I mean, and for that matter, for me, it's my children, right? To be able to influence them. But yeah, having that intent and praying that we are able to fulfill. I mean, it is a responsibility.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, whatever steps we take towards that responsibility, Krishna is going to see, and somehow,
Yes.
right? Yeah, and again, help with little steps, like you said. I mean, different people are in different stages of their journey.
Yeah.
But even if we are able to help them take one step forward, that's an achievement. So
I think that's important to look at. Like, I think about my mom all the time, and at least she has started listening to what I send her. I send her the simplest lectures and simplest things. Chanting is, of course, a challenge right now. she has at least, I should say, started doing 1 or 2 rounds, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think slow steps are also steps. So we should just be positive and
Yeah.
keep going.
Yes. Absolutely.
And then I compare it to myself. I'm like, you know, after being for 20 plus years, it's chanting is still a challenge. So why am I, telling my mom about it? Kind of. Yeah. But thank you. Very nice class.
We'll end here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Bimani. Hari Hari Bol. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mm.